And we are live. All right, guys, this is an extremely important conversation here for anyone in enterprise that's running a large organization, Fortune 500 companies, Inc. 5000 companies. We have an expert on the subject matter of sales, prospecting, nurturing, and doing it at scale. So, Amir, I have three questions for you.
Yep.
Number one is, how do you enable a workforce to adopt a new technology, something that's working for email or for communication or for closing deals? How do you adopt that? How do you enable and evangelize that?
Yeah, so there's many different ways, but first it's a mindset, right? I think you have to educate your team, especially your management, that this is not a new way of doing business, and this is not a new way of doing business development. This is a tool that will help you get the right message to the right person in a different way that can stand out over a email, phone call, or SMS, and then structure, right? So if you have an onboarding process, and let's say your onboarding process is 2 weeks and it's divided between modules and ideas, look at a tool like Dubb as a extra 30-minute module and saying, okay, well, this is simply how you would hit record, right? And then upload something into an email, because the message is staying the same. It's just literally a few more clicks, which can be complicated to people, but if you put it into your onboarding process as a module, you'll get a lot of early adoption, and you'll be able to refer people back to that actual course if you're noticing they're not doing it. Say, hey, we'll go back to day 5 and we went over that Dubb video course for 30 minutes, right?
Yeah, nice. Next question is, how do we get more responses to our emails, to our LinkedIn messages, to our phone calls?
Yeah.
One of the things that I think sales leaders are frustrated with, and then also the boots on the ground, the SDRs and the people that are dialing, they're frustrated because there's so much noise now. There's no human meetings that are happening per se. Things are going more virtual. How do we get more engagement?
Well, Mike, look, a lot of it starts off with working, either building a product or service that really helps an existing problem, or working for a company that has product market fit, right? And like that's gonna help right off the bat, because there's already established need and demand and momentum. The second one is going to be using research, but not timely research, right? I would say an MVR, right? Minimal viable research, right? To make sure that the message that you're sending really has context to the person that you're going at. And it allows you to do things at scale, right? Because you can't always personalize and you can't always message, but you can find that in between where it's like, all right, John, you're a VP of sales along with 2 other VPs of sales, 10,000 VP sales. What do you guys all have in common? That would be beating forecast, right? You're a CEO of a growth phase. What's really important to most CEOs at your level, it's getting past that 5 million RR and getting into that 5 to 10, right? So look for the things that are can be personalized at scale, and find that one problem that you can fix, and you'll start seeing you'll be able to open up more conversations that way. It's a never-ending game, though.
It is. That's true. A couple of takeaways there. MVR, minimum viable research.
Minimal viable research.
It's an ecosystem. This is a garden that we're all in. It's a marathon. It's not a sprint. My final question for you is, how do we? There's a difference between scale and growth. Okay.
Yep.
Scale is when we have the same amount of inputs, but we have increased outputs. Growth is where we increase the number of inputs, and then as a result, we increase our outputs. So growth would be hiring more sales reps. Scale would be optimizing the way that the sales reps are working and the engagement and the deals that they're closing. Mm-hmm. How would you recommend to folks that are doing either way, because both are effective, they're just different, how would you recommend folks to optimize their funnel?
With who you're targeting and why. It's I wish it was sexier than that, but research and actual leads are the most important thing for optimizing the levers that you said, right? Because if you look at the word scale and efficiency and what you mentioned, if you are starting with the actual right people, you're going to get a higher response rate. But not only are you going to get a higher response rate, you're going to get quicker onboardings because they actually need your product, and you're going to get less cancellations. So it's going to actually affect the whole machine, not just revenue. And that's where you get that scale that you're talking about, starting by helping the right people.
Nice. And you've had phenomenal growth in your company. What would you say your secret to success is?
Ours was never stopping the prospect, right? And if you think about that, that makes a lot of sense, right? Because we are in the business of prospecting. So I think the secret is never stop prospecting. And then I would say the second one is learning how to say no and fire your worst clients, which is sometimes the hardest thing to do.
Nice. Well, you and I met through a cold call, in fact.
We did. Yeah.
So I am honored to actually.
But it wasn't cold because Darius is a revenue leader and I'm a revenue leader, so like we had something in common, right? And that's kind of what I used in the conversation.
And that's the ultimate unlock. That's the ultimate mindset.
Well, there's two consistencies, right? With revenue leaders, we network, and we help each other.
Right. Amazing. And where can people learn more about you, your LinkedIn, and your website?
LinkedIn, Amir Writer, Instagram, Amir Writer, Facebook, Amir Writer. I'm trying to speak the same language on across all channels, and you'll probably see me a lot on Dub stuff too, because I think you and I are going to be helping the community a lot more this year.
Nice. And then what's your website address?
It's www.cloudtask.com. Cloudtask, L-U-D-T-S-K. Yeah.
There it is. Well, thank you so much, Amir. Appreciate the time.
I'm excited about this. I'm totally, for me, doing more and more videos, like it's a mandate that I believe in, you know.
There it is.
I'm pumped.
Consistency. Thanks, man.
All right, man. Take care.